Hey, what's going on, guys? Garden Shed here, and welcome! So, you joined me on a lovely October morning, basically to say, I've had my V-Strom now 1 year. Well, it's actually a year and a month. I got it in middle of September, and I haven't actually ridden it since middle of September. I've had a lot going on, so I haven't really had a chance, and the weather's been a bit rubbish. There's stuff all over the roads. Gritters are out now, so I ride it much less. But really, just wanted to go over a few different bits and bobs about it, what I do like, what I don't like. So in the last year, well, by the year of ownership, I'd just come back from the Lake District, and on the way back, I clocked up 10,000 miles. I've done 10,000 miles in a year on it, which is pretty good going considering I don't commute. But anyway, let me turn around the camera, and yeah, we'll sort of go through a few bits and bobs. So first off, apologies for the very, very close camera angle. Unfortunately, there's a table here, a load of workshop stuff, so it is a little bit cramped in here. Now, over the last 10,000 miles, this bike has absolutely been brilliant. I'll show you one of the best features about it, which especially for touring, is this little knob down here, which is the preload adjuster on the rear shock. So you can crank it up, crank it down really easily, no tools required. I think that's an excellent touch on the bike. Now I've been touring around Europe, I've been touring around all sorts of places with the panniers on, load it up, and yeah, it works brilliantly. Really, really good. And with a pillion you can just do it, I know for example 6 clicks for Hannah, 7 clicks if I'm fully loaded with camping kit, stuff like that. Really, really useful bit of kit. The tank still looks quite fresh and things like that. There is a little bit of battle damage on it. There, my pannier got scratched, I casually dropped it, as this bike's been dropped twice, once off the centre stand. It's very heavy, very, very heavy on the centre stand, and which you can see underneath it. But yeah, once I was washing it and had a soapy foot and tried to put it on the centre stand with said soapy foot, and it came crashing down. So that was fine, and then I've dropped it once riding it, so not great. But overall, still looks remarkably tidy. I never put it away wet or dirty for more than a couple of days. I always clean it straight away. But having said that, there are a couple of little bits. So, for example, I don't know if you can see just there, that ring there is completely covered in surface rust, and that actually happened about a month after ownership, in the first 600 miles, when I'd only ridden in it in a couple of winters. Sorry, in a couple of wet days. It went on my last one, it's gone on the demos at the dealership, I checked, but so far I've been looking at forums and stuff, no major reason for concern, anything like that. Brake lines, nuts and bolts all seem to be absolutely okay, all the fixtures and fittings. This is a weak point of the bike, so you do need to make sure that you clean it quite thoroughly, rather well. I have noticed the aluminium bash plate is permanently tarnished. Probably go for a black one in future, just because I like the look of it. But yeah, I mean, I do try and keep it tidy. I have missed little bits here and there when I last cleaned it. I did it in a hurry before the rain came. But other than that, I think everything's okay. I have noticed, apparently here it's quite common that the finish starts to wear away, especially when you're tying down luggage and stuff like that. But I haven't had any issues. The top box does rattle on the chevy mount. I need to check the screws and things in the box. One problem I have noticed is around the fuel filler cap. I haven't got the key on me. Basically there's a gap around there, so whenever you wash it, water pools inside it. Now you have to be really careful to get some sort of blue tissue and stuff and go around the edge, and it's basically the nozzle of the tank's there and there's a little lip around the inside, and that pulls water. Now obviously you don't want water in your fuel, but also it starts to rust if it's sat there, so I'll make sure I clean that out every time I wash the bike. Other than that, all good. I mean, the exhaust has discoloured quite significantly, and there's lots of bits that you can't really wash off on the exhaust, sort of burnt on bits, but nothing major. It's just average wear and tear. I still think it's quite tidy. As a bike on the whole, I've absolutely loved it. It has been brilliant. As I say, 10,000 miles, toured Europe, Wales, Lake District, a few sort of 300-400 mile days. Yeah, It's fine with a pillion on, etc. Let me turn you around. Been really, really good. Really enjoyed it. I think the engine's brilliant. Very sort of low down grunt, especially sort of going up mountains and things fully loaded. And by mountains I don't mean big hills, I mean like the Alps and stuff like that. Really, really useful. Decent fuel range. I'm getting about 240, 250 miles to a tank of fuel. And yeah, just absolutely loving it. Downsides? Can't really think of any. Front suspension's a little bit soft under braking. If you have to do an emergency stop, the front properly nosedives, which is a bit disconcerting. And it is quite a tall, heavy bike for someone of my size. As I've said in proper reviews and things, I'm 5'6". I really like it. I've ridden at night, I've ridden in daytime. Headlights really brilliant. All the switch gear, things like that, lovely and tactile. It moves around fine. There's no sort of tarnishing around the headstock or anything like that. As I said, do try and look after it. And these mirrors are absolutely brilliant, the standard ones. Yes, they're big and they give off quite a lot of turbulence, but they are really, really good. I mean, I haven't tested the little power socket down here because I have my sat-nav wired in. I don't use a phone when I'm on the bike. Had a couple of times where it doesn't want to start, hence why it's on the battery conditioner. I don't know if that's because I happen to leave the sat-nav in the socket and it's drawing power, but it shouldn't do because it's in the wired into the ignition. But yeah, that's about it really. I mean, nuts and bolts wise, yeah, I could do with cleaning the rear cogs. But all in all, it's still quite tidy. I mean, the only complaints I really have are the jivvy bits. But that's about it. You know, there's a little bit of tarnishing there, stuff like that. But yeah, overall, oh, in case you're wondering, I put these on, so they're strapped for my Go Gravel bag. I have, I strap it off just there, on the pannier rail, and there on the top box mount, to stop it sliding around. So that's what those little bits of anti-slip stuff are. Not an issue really, but just one recall on it. Sorry, recall, not warranty claim. And that was over the entire range. I hadn't noticed any problems with mine, which I believe was a fuel seal. So I changed the tyres just before I went off to Europe. I'd done 4,000 miles on the old tyre. I've done, well, about 7 on these so far, and tread's not too bad. It's starting to flatten off a little bit, but I did a few thousand miles of motorway riding and stuff like that. Actually, I probably did about 1,000 miles on the motorways, so yeah, they are starting to flatten off, but they've still got lots and lots of tread in them. I reckon they'll be good for another 3,000 miles or so, so I reckon I can get 10,000 miles out of these. And so the original tyres were Bridgestone A40s, and I upgraded to the A41s. Yeah, no, all good, all good. Other than that, I think that's just about it really. I can't think of anything. If you have any questions about ownership or stuff like that, then let me know. This could very well be the last video in this garage. I've had an offer accepted on a house, which is why the channel's gone a bit quiet, so please bear with me. Trying to sort out mortgage surveys, etc, etc. But yeah, I've had an offer accepted on a house, which is great. Hoping to complete before Christmas. It has a house for Dennis, my Vstrom. So yeah, just a little bit of an update at the end of the video for you, but if things are a little bit quiet, then you know what's going on. Looking forward to having my own place and not having to traipse around all this stuff every time I want to go somewhere. Yeah, so really looking forward to it. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching, and take care.